Today we are reading chapter 9 of the Gospel of John in our Bible reading challenge for July. And we would love to know what you are thinking as you read along with the rest of the community. What are you experiencing? And drop a comment and let us know. It really encourages us that this is a two-way stream of communication. And this chapter is probably one of my favorite chapters in the Gospel of John. And we have to appreciate that it is layered. There's a lot of symbolism within the Bible. And this is particularly the case in this chapter when there's a physical healing of a man's blindness that becomes evident of the spiritual blindness of the establishment. And Jesus addresses this from a very big scale. And he repeats those words from the previous chapter when he says that I am the light of the world. And whilst it's light, I have to do the work of my Father. I have to be in step with him as he establishes righteousness and justice and order, recreating life itself and pronouncing judgment on evil from a systemic and metaphysical level. And it sort of becomes evident when the disciples ask, but is this man born because of the sins of his parents? And Jesus says, no. It's so much bigger. There's so much evil in the world, but I am here to bring a change. And Jesus spits in the ground and he makes mud and he smears it in the man's eyes as a clear reference to that moment, in that sort of primordial space where God fashions and forms humans out of mud. And here God reestablishes the man's sight out of an act of judgment on pronouncing evil as to be banished from the existence that Jesus longs for his people. And he sends the man to this pool called Siloam, which means to be sent. And maybe Jesus does this deliberately because Jesus is the one who is sent from the Father. In the Latin, the word is missio, or mission, the mission of God. And the mission of God, as Jesus becomes sent into the world, is evident that he wants to establish salvation. He wants to recreate the world in a way that is fashioned after his own character. Because what I really find interesting and perhaps funny is how the man who is then healed is interrogated by the leaders, and in a sort of sarcastic way, he really calls them out. Because when they ask him, speak the truth, it's evident from their character that they are not as much interested in the truth as they are in holding on to the power that they have. And here is a moment of relinquish, but of great deliverance and freedom and spiritual insight to come into the light. And as we do, we partake in the mission of God, a God who is a missionary at heart, who is a missionary God, and who comes to redeem the world, to redeem us. And with that, this previously blind man actually talks about having his sight restored, of coming into the light, of being redeemed. And it's a spontaneous change of character and demeanor in the man's life. And this is my hope and prayer for you. What are your prayers today? What is your longing? Are you praying for the light of God to break through and shine into a particular situation into your life? And let us know, and we can pray with you. So let us know what you think.